Now, as a member of the Global Military Advisory Council on Climate Change, what we're really concerned about is the big threats. So not threats to the economy, we can survive those. Not threats of minor wars, we can survive those, but basically what we call existential threats. So those are the big ones that threaten either the global civilization, which we're all part of, this sort of interconnected world that gives us all those wonderful material goods, the flow of oil around the planet, the flow of chips, our communication systems we rely on, the food we eat, pretty much everything now is part of a globalised system. So existential threats can cause that to collapse. But also at a bigger level, they might actually threaten humanity itself. And the Centre for the Study of Existential Risk in Oxford sort of looks at existential threats that may reduce humans to about 1 or 10% of their current population, which you can do a quick calculation, is a lot of unfortunate casualties. So from my perspective, there are really three big threats to humanity, and they sort of work together. So firstly, there's the one we've been living with for 50 years. So the fact that there is a threat doesn't mean it gets realised, and that's nuclear war. Humans have had the capacity to destroy humans or civilization for a long time, and we haven't. It's looking bad at the moment because there is, of course, the conflict in Ukraine, and also there's this, I call them the drongos with the bongos, beating the drums of war, as if war is a good thing to happen. It's never a good thing to happen. My uncle fought in World War II. He remembers what war was like. He says, don't go there. It's one of the few that are still surviving. Don't go there, he says. We forget the horrors that it brings, although those in Ukraine, no doubt, do not forget at the moment. So we've been managing this threat of war for a while. In fact, that's what the international organisations such as the United Nations were set up to manage. They've not done too bad a job of it. But then there's a new threat in town, and that's climate change. And by climate change, I'm also including the other environmental crises such as biodiversity loss, the fact that we've got waste all over the planet, a problem with plastic pollution, chemical pollutions. In fact, I think 6.5 now out of the 9 planetary boundaries have been breached. So we're really shitting in our own nest at the moment. There's a whole lot of environmental crises that are connected with each other, which climate change is the first cab off the block, I think, or the one with most prominence. And that also flows back into war, because in a time of crisis, when you are suffering the disasters, suffering the impacts on global food supply, that's also when humans tend to scrabble and fight for resources. So there is a link between environmental crises and conflict. And we've seen this before. Everything has an end. And if you think about it logically, at some point in time, the universe explodes, sun goes supernova, there is an end to humanity. So let's get over it. There is no hope. Don't worry about it. So it's not a sensible question in many ways.